welcome in. It is the beginning of a new week in the Tarot Readathon, so I'm going to be looking at the new Significator challenge and pulling a tarot card. I am still in the middle of two ongoing challenges. I'm halfway through Turn of the Screw and also halfway through Homeward. I'm really enjoying both of them and I'm hoping to finish them both up very soon. I'm thinking Turn of the Screw I'll probably even finish today. Yeah, let's look at the new Significator. It is the Ace of Cups, which in my tarot deck, the artwork is from Japanese mythology and it's Matsuo Saki, and says it marks a new beginning, happiness, love, intimacy, new emotions, and compassion. And the reading challenge for this is to read a book that will fill your cup with joy, which I just love. I love how open this challenge is. And I am gonna pull one other challenge just to see what we get. Hopefully it's something good and something fun. The Eight of Swords. I love the artwork on this card so much. It's like this girl in a donkey skin. It's so good. It's actually from a French fairy tale called Donkey Skin, and it represents being caught up in your own insecurities. Anxiety, victimhood, feeling trapped, paralysis, and crisis. And the challenge is to read a book from a genre you don't usually read. For this, I'm gonna go with a penguin teen arc I have for Luminous Beings, which is about a group of teenagers kind of facing the end of the world and like human extinction, I think via like zombie squirrels or something funny like that. And it's also a graphic novel, which I don't read very often, and I actually haven't read any in a while, besides Sweet Tooth. And I should read more. I actually have so many graphic novels on my TBR, but I just never tend to reach for them. So this should be fun. Since it is a graphic novel and I will probably finish it quite quickly, I am going to draw another challenge. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. What is that? Four of Swords. The art on the Four of Swords is Fenrir from Norse mythology, and it represents a pause in battle, sanctuary, recouping, and meditation. And the reading challenge is to read a book that you just unapologetically enjoy. It doesn't have to be a literary masterpiece, just a book that makes you happy. And this is so perfect. It goes along so well with the Ace of Cups. I don't know, I think I might go with the sequel to House of Salt and Sorrows, House of Roots and Ruin. The first book made me so happy, and I'm really excited to see what the sequel holds. I have heard that it's not great, but I love the characters and I love the world and the setting and everything. So even if it's not great, I think I'll be happy just to be there, you know? So yeah, that is what I'm gonna do. These are my 3 goals for the next few days, and I will keep you updated on how it goes. Monday now, so it has been a while since the last update, but as you can see, I've had a really busy week. Obviously, I went to my friend's wedding, which was so beautiful. It was like out in the middle of nowhere in the beautiful countryside in this little palace. So the reception and the dinner and everything were in a palace, and the ceremony itself was in this church right next to the palace. This was the most beautiful, perfect church I've ever, like, I died. All of the guests got to stay in rooms either in the palace or in like the guest house off to the side of the palace. So cool to like all be staying together for the entire weekend. It was just such a nice time, and I'm so happy that we got to go. And then besides that, trying to think of what else I did this week. I had a bracelet making night with my friend where we got together and made some friendship bracelets for both of our upcoming Eras Tour shows. I had already made a couple. I made one for Reputation, Lover, Evermore, which is my favorite album. My friend made me one that says Queen of Sandcastles because that's a lyric that I mentioned really liking. And then I made him a blue version of this one that says I'm your daisy, and it has little daisies on it because he said that he liked that one. And he also gave me a long live. I made a mirror ball one, a double one that says ketchup and seemingly ranch, and the beads are the colors of ketchup and ranch. And this other double layered one that says cherry lips, crystal skies, and I made little cherries out of the beads. One that says moonstone aura with like really pretty moonstone colors, and one that says my mind is alive.
I'm not asleep, my mind is alive.
Still need to make a lot more before my show, but we made a pretty good start. And besides that, I think that's all of the life updates. So as far as reading updates, I did finish 3 books. I finished Turn of the Screw, which is for the Tin of Coins, a book about family or legacy. And I will say, I think after reading it, it might be a little bit of a stretch to say it's about family. It is in there, like the kids are, I think their parents are dead or something because they're in the care of their uncle, but their uncle doesn't really want anything to do with them, so he just has them living in this empty house. So I mean, there's kind of like a lack of family that leads to the children being in the care of these possibly, depending on your interpretation, neglectful or abusive servants and like governesses. And like the current governess, you never know if she's a reliable narrator or not, but she's always talking about like the previous adults in the house and what they might have been doing to harm the children. So I would say like maybe less on the idea of family legacy, but more on the idea of the legacy of past actions and the ghosts of the past haunting the present and stuff like that. Like I said, it's a little bit of a reach, and I'm not gonna deny that, but I think it's there enough that I do feel justified in counting it. And I did really, really enjoy it. I mentioned the writing style last time, but besides that, this was like so creepy and so good, and it had me questioning my own interpretation of the book and like, am I just projecting weird things, or like did the author actually intend this? And I think that that's the whole point. Then I also read Luminous Beings for the 8 of Swords. Read a book outside of your usual genre challenge. This is a graphic novel. It's about like an apocalypse situation where there's like diseased zombie squirrels, which is a really fun concept, and I really liked that and like the setup, and the art style was really cool, and I love the color palette. This is so gorgeous, but I have to say I didn't really connect to like the writing style. And then the 3rd book I finished was House of Roots and Ruin, which was for the 4 of Swords challenge, which was to just read any book you want because you love it. And I knew that I loved the first book in this series, and I was really excited to read this sequel. They're both like really cool gothic haunted house horror stories. I loved it. I loved the vibes and the ending. If anyone has read this, the ending, Aaron Craig, I loved that. So overall, I'm really happy, but we have 2 days left of the readathon. And I have made these graphics on Canva to check my reading, and there's 2 slots left open, and I just feel like it would be really nice if I could fill those 2 slots. So I'm gonna pull for 2 more reading challenges. So the new significator is the Page of Coins. In my deck, she is Beaivi Nieda, who is a Sami deity from Sweden who represents the beginning of spring and summer, a fresh start, setting goals, loyalty, positivity, and opportunities. And the reading challenge here is to read the shortest book on your TBR. Could do this multiple times, could do this 2 times to finish those last 2 books before the end of the readathon. But I am gonna draw anyway, just because it's fun. So the first thing I'm drawing is the star. Oh, this is one of my favorite tarot cards. Actually, I have a necklace. The star in my deck is based on a Russian fairy tale of Sister Alyanushka and Brother Ivanushka, and it is a symbol of hope after disaster, the need to remain positive after misfortune, to remember that things can get better again. And the prompt for this is to read a graphic novel or manga. The stars are aligning for me because probably the shortest book on my TBR is a graphic novel. Okay, so the next one I'm getting it. Ooh. The Queen of Cups, she's a mermaid, and she was a mermaid. So my Queen of Cups is Yemoja, who is a Yoruba deity from Nigeria, and she represents the surface of the subconscious. Femininity, warmth, empathy, a counselor, and intuition. And the reading challenge is to read a book that explores non-traditional forms of love, such as platonic or familial love. I decided to just look at the graphic novels and find the shortest graphic novel, and that was Little White Duck, which is about 2 little girls growing up in China China right after the death of Chairman Mao. So that will cover these two challenges. And then for this challenge, non-traditional forms of love, I actually have one more Penguin teen arc that's coming out in August that is a perfect fit for this because it is about found family and friendship, and that is called Come Out by Natalie C. Parker. It says, this delightfully dark and pointed novel calls out the systems that erase gay and queer and trans identity, giving space to embrace queerness and to unleash the power of friendship and found family against the real monsters in the world. I am gonna go get started on these so I can hopefully finish them both in the next couple days, and I'll let you know how it goes. It is the end of July, so I am here to end this vlog and say goodbye to the tarot readathon, which I had so much fun doing. As you saw over the past few days, I did some of the other activities for Team Cups. The first one was to make a gratitude list, and I had such a nice time doing that. I used to do gratitude journaling pretty often, and I got out of the habit of it, so this was a nice reminder of like how nice it is to just sit down and do that from time to time. And then the other activity was to go browse through some artwork made by someone from the bookish community, and I went and looked at the web shop of basically Brit. I've been following Brit basically since I started BookTube. I think we actually both started around the same time, and she's just so nice. Her artwork is so cute. She shows it a lot in her vlogs, but I've never actually gone and looked at her shop, and she has so many cute bookmarks and sticker sheets. And then I also went and looked at Leora Eileen's web shop, and I love her art so much too. She has so much like magical, whimsical, fairy, witch, cottagecore kind of vibes. Absolutely love her tote bags. This one with the little toad on it, I love it. And then another artist from our bookish community that I highly recommend checking out is my friend Starzy. I'll leave a link to her art pages below. She does so much cute stuff. My personal favorite is this one of Huntress from Dead by Daylight that she did, because it just, when we first started hanging out and becoming good friends, Dead by Daylight was like our game that we would play online together all the time. And so it just has a special place in my heart. And of course, my friend Allie from Hardback Hoarder also has a website where she designs bookish merch and also like mental health related merch, which is all really, really beautiful. I really love this Final Girl design with the knife. It's so good. And yeah, those are the bookish artists and designers that I spent some time appreciating in the past few days. And again, I will leave them linked down below. I highly recommend checking them out. But besides that, as far as the actual reading portion of this readathon, my final update is that I did complete all of the books that I set out to finish. I finished the audiobook for Homeward, which was so good. It was a bit like of a slow moving plot, but it was so emotional and impactful. And then I also read the graphic novel Little White Duck, which I really enjoyed. Although I did feel a little bit underwhelmed by this because I just wasn't sure like what I was supposed to be taking out of it. But I think if I was interpreting the author's note correctly, she just wanted to like share her experiences of a childhood in China because it is a unique cultural experience. So that counted for the shortest book on my TBR and a graphic novel. And then after that, I did read Come Out by Natalie C. Parker as a book that explores a non-traditional type of love, because this is about found family and friendship. And this wasn't really what I was expecting. I really thought that it was going to be heavier on the supernatural horror side of things, while also kind of using it as a tool to explore the social themes. But it ended up being like more really heavy and in-depth and like really emotional on the social themes. And I think the horror kind of fell by the wayside a little bit, which is fine. I think that these are really important issues to explore, and I think that this book explored them in a really interesting way, and I really enjoyed it. So with that, the tarot readathon comes to an end. Here is the kind of final roundup of all of the books that I read and the challenges they completed. And here are all of the tarot cards that I completed. Seeing them all together like this is so wild to me. I can't believe I read this much. And I also really liked pulling these cards from from like mythology and folklore from so many different cultures. I didn't go into them in detail in the vlogs because it just would have taken so much time, but I definitely have plans to just take a few hours sometime and just go look up all of these stories and like read all of the little folk tales and stuff. So yeah, overall, it's just been such a good experience. I would love to know what your experience was. And if you didn't do the tarot readathon, I'd just love to know in general what you've been up to this month and what some of your favorite things that you did were. Again, thank you for hanging out, and I hope that I get to talk to you soon. Bye.